Okay, now, so we have learnt all the pieces of chess and how they move. On to a lesson a little bit about the basics of strategy in chess and about tactics. Tactics is a really important aspect of chess, and it's really what this lesson is about. So in chess, we can attack pieces and we can defend pieces. So if we just look at this position here, which has arisen out of a capture the flag type game where we have 5 pawns each, and then we also have some supporting characters. The aim of the game is to get the pawn to the end of the board. Highly recommend that you guys play this game when you're learning the basics of chess. So in this position, let's say it is black to move. So it's black's move. The way to approach a position like this is to think, what can take what? What can capture what on the next move? So if it is black's move, the question to ask is, can black take any of white's pieces? So initially, it's going to be a bit difficult because you're going to have to go through each piece, but eventually you will build a pattern recognition that enables you to look at the board and immediately see what can take what. But I don't want you guys to feel like if you make a mistake, it's a big deal, because trust me, the best players in the world make big mistakes. It's part of being human, and this game is difficult. So don't worry if you don't see it immediately. But let's look at this position. Black can take white like this. Okay? That's one thing that black can do. Okay? Now, as far as I can see, there's nothing else that black can take. But now let's look at what happens if black takes this pawn. Now it is white's move. Can white take that pawn back? And in general, can white take any of black's pieces? Well, well done if you saw that this rook over here can actually recapture that pawn. So, to go back just a few moves, black took white's pawn, and white took black's pawn. This is very common in chess. This is what we call an exchange. Pawn for a pawn, okay? I don't want you to think that it's a bad thing if you get your piece taken. Not a bad thing every time. It's just part of the game. What is quite bad is if you're getting all your pieces taken, but you're not taking any pieces back, okay? Now, it's black's move because white just took this pawn back. Can black do anything now? Well, we have to refresh our minds. It's a new position now, okay? And it's black to move. Can black take any of white's pieces? Well, if you were looking carefully at all the pieces, hopefully you would have seen that this bishop over here can actually take the rook, okay? And now it is white's move. Can white take anything? Well, we have to look at every piece. Now these pawns, they, as far as I can see, cannot take anything, right? Maybe if this bishop was on this square, then the pawn can take it, but the bishop is here. However, this bishop, let's look at where the bishop can go. It can go there, it can go there, it can go there, and it can also go all the way along here. And if we continue, we'll see that this bishop can actually take a pawn. But the question is that a good move? If I take that pawn, is there anything that black can do in exchange, in response to that move? Well, yes. Black can take me back with their rook, okay? And this is what we call a bad exchange, okay? So the bishop managed to take a pawn, which, remember, is worth 1 point, but the rook took my bishop back, and the bishop is worth 3 points. So black managed to get a bishop, and all I got was a pawn. So that's not a good exchange, okay? And if we go back to the initial position of this lesson, which I believe was something like this. Black took this pawn. If I take this pawn back with my rook, we've already seen that the bishop can take the rook. So before I take that piece, what I should be thinking in my head is, what happens if I take this pawn? And this is really what chess is all about. It's about looking moves ahead and trying to assess the position and asking yourself, if I do this, what can they then do? Okay, so if I take this piece, well, black's going to take my rook. A pawn is worth 1 point, and a rook is worth 5 points. So this is not a good exchange. I've lost a rook, and all I've gained is a pawn. Now, the reason why I cannot take this pawn is because it is defended or protected, we can use either word, by the bishop. So here the bishop is doing a very important job. And as you will see in chess, it's very important to defend and protect your pieces. Our pieces should work together, like as if they are an army going to war or something like that. Yeah. Everyone should work together. And when your pieces are all working together, it's a beautiful thing and it's really enjoyable to play chess. Great.